Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to rumble? Today night on the Red, White, and Ruthless, we are going to talk about the Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen matchup today. And this is one of those matchups that's been a knockout each way between the regular season for Josh Allen getting some much needed wins in each round, and then Patrick Mahomes getting the scorecard in the playoffs. It's the highly anticipated matchup going to round 8 this time, just like in the Mike Tyson Jake Paul matchup. But in this episode, we will promise that we will not have any lagging issues like Netflix had. Hello, everyone. My name is Brett McDurphy, and I am with the Red, White, and Ruthless today. And we are going to talk about this highly anticipated matchup. But first, before we do that, I want to say I am by myself tonight. Unfortunately, my co-host, Sean, is going to the game, and he's going to be doing some remote work this week instead of being on the show, and we wish him all the best. We hope he's safe and has fun at the game. But we're going to do the Red, White, and Ruthless alone this week, which is going to be fine. I'm okay with that 100%. But we will also have some very highly anticipated pictures and photos as well as videos that we have too, of some of the places that Jake and Sean are going to go to. They're going to go to places like 9/11 Tavern and a few other places this week and check out a lot of the food that you can get in Western New York. So tonight, let's talk about this highly anticipated matchup between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. But first, before we do that, let's hit our intro. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Red, White, and Ruthless presented by Nickel City Mafia, where our family business is football. Tonight, we're going to talk about the biggest matchup of the week between the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. And this is probably one of the biggest matchups of the 2024 season. This matchup has everything that you're looking for, some star power, as well as a history of delivering unforgettable moments, as well as some playoff seeding implications that could be in play later on in the season. Kickoff is set for 4:25 Eastern Standard Time for this game on Sunday at Highmark Stadium. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the records and what's at stake for both teams. Buffalo enters this game at 7-2, leading the AFC East. Kansas City sits at 9-0 this season and sits atop the AFC West. This could be a preview of another playoff clash. This also has the matchup to be a one of those games where both teams are coming off of unbelievable wins last week. The Bills edged the Colts last week, while the Kansas City Chiefs outlasted the Broncos. And this game could have been the first loss of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs, where it came down to the last play of the game, where the Kansas City Chiefs had to stop a field goal, and they were able to do that. The rivalry of these two teams has been unforgettable in the last 5 years. This will be the 8th matchup in 5 years with an overall record between the two teams that is unbelievable. We'll get into that a little later in the show. This matchup is quickly becoming one of the NFL's most marquee rivalries. Think about their most recent clashes and some of the heartbreaking moments for Bills Mafia in the playoffs. With Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen facing off against each other, this game will always deliver to be one of the best. Let's talk about the team breakdowns, and let's talk about the Buffalo Bills and the 7-2 Buffalo Bills on offense. Josh Allen leads a dynamic offense that's averaging 29 points per game. He's complemented by James Cook in the backfield and is emerging as one of the most reliable threats in the game for the Bills in terms of their rushing attack. On the other the passing side of things, they have receiving threats like Khalil Shakir and Amari Cooper if he does play today. The Bills will be without some very key players in this matchup between Keon Coleman as well as Dalton Kincaid, who are both out. But the Bills' offensive line has been steady all year, but Spencer Brown's status for this game could be a concern. The Bills did elevate 2 players off of the practice squad this week, both of those players on offense. The first player that was elevated was Zach Davidson. If you remember him, he had a very good training camp for the Buffalo Bills and preseason. He was anticipated to potentially make the roster for the Bills, but they decided to go with Quentin Morris instead. And you saw Zach Davidson slide back to the Bills, get on the practice squad, and he has been there ever since. He's going to be in the lineup this week, maybe as a healthy scratch, though, but he could see some action in the game, and he could be used as a blocking tight end in those situations. The other player, Richard Garage, is the other player that has been elevated. He comes from the University of Florida, where he played with our former 5th-round pick in Justin Shorter a couple of years ago that we got him. He is going to be in the lineup if Spencer Brown is inactive. You could see him as the swing tackle in this game, with Ryan Vandermark being the starting right tackle for the Buffalo Bills. On defense, the Bills' defense has been very good this season, led by Greg Rousseau, who is pressuring quarterbacks at an alarming rate at a little under 2.5 seconds per pressure rate. He has 6 sacks this season and is headlined not only by him, but also Dorian Williams, who has 91 tackles this season, and they will both look to stifle Patrick Mahomes. Buffalo's ranks in the top 10 in third down defense as well, and must continue that trend against the Kansas City Chiefs' high-powered attack. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs, the 9-0 Kansas City Chiefs on offense, Patrick Mahomes leads the league in most efficient passing attack, and they're supported by Travis Kelce, who remains one of the NFL's most difficult matchups, especially for the Buffalo Bills. The Bills will be without Matt Milano this week, as he was activated based off of his 21-day window. Now, he's not ready to play necessarily because he is on IR this week, but the Bills could possibly see him in the lineup very shortly. The Chiefs are averaging 24.3 points per game, but have struggled in the red zone at times this season. The defense of the Kansas City Chiefs, who is coached by Steve Spagnuolo, is one of the better ones in the NFL as well. The Chiefs' defense allows just 17.9 points per game, ranking among the league's best. Steve Spagnuolo's unit has been especially tough against the run, allowing only 83.2 yards per game. The key matchups for this game come down to just about 4 of them. It starts with Josh Allen versus the Kansas City Chiefs secondary. Allen has 21 touchdowns this season and is in MVP form. Kansas City ranks 14th in passing defense, allowing 206.7 yards per game. This is Buffalo's best opportunity to exploit some weaknesses. Khalil Shakir could play a pivotal role in this game, and it could be one of the leading targets that the Kansas City Chiefs need to defend. Kansas City's 3rd and 4th cover defenders are going to be going up against him, and they have been very inconsistent this season. Another key matchup is going to be Travis Kelce versus the Buffalo's linebackers. Kelce remains Mahomes' favorite target on the field. He has 499 receiving yards this season. Buffalo's linebackers must contain him to limit Mahomes' effectiveness in critical situations. I believe strongly that the key to this game doesn't come down to the linebackers necessarily. I feel like this game could be played in more of the big nickel type situations where you see Cole Bishop in the lineup in these situations because he is so good at covering tight ends. And if you see him in the lineup, it's because Kelce is getting involved in this game. Maybe the Bills will decide to take out DeMar Hamlin in situations on passing downs that could be something that you could see. Now, I don't necessarily believe that they will do that, but you could see it because Cole Bishop is one of the best in the NFL at covering tight ends. The third key matchup is going to be the Battle of the Trenches, and this is one where I believe Sean Kula of the Red, White, and Bills would love to hear this. Let's talk about the defensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills offensive line. Let's talk about that. Kansas City's defensive line is led by George Karlaftis, and he will look to disrupt Buffalo's offensive rhythm. Conservatively, the Buffalo's defensive front has Greg Rousseau and Ed Oliver, who must keep Patrick Mahomes under pressure. So this is going to be one of those battles where the Bills need to win the battle in the trenches on both sides of the ball. We talk about how important it is for the offensive line, especially, to keep composure and make sure that they keep a clean pocket for Josh Allen. Now we have to disrupt the pocket and create opportunities where the Bills can close in on Patrick Mahomes and keep him inside the tackle box. Now, if they're able to do that, that's going to be one of the keys to winning this game. On the other hand, Patrick Mahomes is dealing with an ankle injury, so he's not going to be able to escape the pocket very well. So the Bills are going to need to utilize Greg Rousseau and Von Miller, as well as A.J. Epinesa on the outside, to create space for Patrick Mahomes to go inside, where you'll see guys like Ed Oliver, as well as Daquan Jones, and some of the other defensive tackles that the Bills have get into the pocket and create sacks for the Bills. Let's talk about the special teams impact in this game, and both teams boast reliable kickers in Tyler Bass and Harrison Butker. But Harrison Butker was placed on injured reserve, so this could be a very key point in the game where you see some pivotal moments take place. If there's some field goals or fourth downs, maybe the Kansas City Chiefs decide to go for it a few times instead of kicking the field goal. Let's talk about the next segment, which is going to be what to watch for in this game, and this is going to be the Bills' offensive adjustments. Buffalo must adapt quickly if the run game falters against the Kansas City Chiefs in their stout front seven. Look for Joe Brady and Buffalo's offensive coordinator to lean into the creative side of the passing game to stretch Kansas City's secondary. Kansas City's response to third downs is another thing to watch for, because Kansas City allows a 38.3% third down efficiency rate. Buffalo has been converting over 40% of their fourth down chances in recent weeks. So we need to see a little bit more from the Bills in terms of getting stretching third downs on offense and continuing drives in those situations. It takes pivotal moments off the clock and makes it so that Patrick Mahomes sits on the bench a little bit longer. Let's talk about predictions as well as some of the betting odds on this game. In this game, the Bills are narrowly favored to win this game by a 52% probability. The prediction for the game, I have the Bills winning this game by a score of 31-24 in favor of the home team. The spread on this game is 2.5 for the Buffalo Bills. Over under on the game is 48.5 points. The money line is for the Kansas City Chiefs plus 110. Buffalo is minus 130. I think that Buffalo's home field advantage and their ability to stretch the field with Shakir and Cook will give them the edge in this game. It's going to be close, but I'm predicting that the Bills will win this game 31-24. And it's going to be very important, but you'll see Khalil Shakir play a big role in this game, getting some yards after the catch in situations. Well, that's all for this week on the AFC East Summit. Thank you for joining us for another week of one of the most exciting matchups of the season. Make sure to tune in on Sunday for all the coverage that you can get. You'll see Jake and Mike on the post-game show, as well as most likely Sean Kula as well. And we'll break down some of the most unforgettable moments of the game. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment on all social media platforms. You know where to find Nickel City Mafia, but you can find me on my website, gobillspodcast.com, and also on YouTube and Instagram. Let's go Bills, and let's get a win this week. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, we say, go Bills.